Good morning. We are out and about. Girl is happy to have a walk. Not that she didn't already get to go romp and stomp at Missy's. Oh, and we have a gorgeous day. Few clouds. A little bit of a breeze. I think the American flag is heavier. It's a different weight. That Navy flag is nylon, so that's why the Navy flag is flowing more than the American flag. But gorgeous, gorgeous, beautiful. Gorgeous and beautiful. How are you, my friends? Welcome, welcome. Tell me about your evening. Tell me what your plans are for today. Today is Tuesday. And yeah, today's Tuesday. I can't say there's anything special about this particular Tuesday. Come on, girl. But we are out and about. It is pretty darn sunny already and fairly warm. Supposed to hit almost 100 today here. So that's kind of warm, I think, for this early. I think. I don't know. I don't track these things. And my memory is not to be counted on. So it may be perfectly normal. I slept pretty well last night. Got up this morning. Did not want to get up this morning, but I got up this morning and got myself dressed and rip-raring ready to go and went to Missy's and let her torture me. She said it was leg day. Frankly, my legs are jello-y, but we did arm stuff. So, I'm like, you missed that. She's like, no. And it was a little combo, like arms and core kind of thing, so that's okay. And did it pretty quick because I was late getting to her. And then when I got to her, she had showed me what she did with her pool. I think I told you she had some steps and she wanted them removed, and I did what I could to remove them for her. I was not strong enough. And I know they were filled with water, and I know as it pulls up, the water drains out. And I mean, I tried to hold it so that it would drain out and everything. That girl, she did it on her own. She didn't need me. She said she needed me, but she didn't need me. She took care of it. That's because she's so strong, because she does all this weightlifting stuff. And that's good. I'm glad she got it taken care of. It was important for her and to her to do that. So then she tortured me. We did, I don't know what everything's called. We just did a lot. And she had me using 20-pound weights, which was a lot for me. And it definitely gives you cardio while you're doing the strength training. So there is that. And let's see. Yeah, then I came home and dropped Pyaar off. Pyaar got to run amongst the acreage with her boy cousins. And she didn't choose to do that, so I don't know if it was already too hot for her. She didn't run much. And I got her out walking now. And then I went to the studio. Because Jeff has a procedure tomorrow, I had to kind of mix up my schedule a little bit. Normally I don't have classes on Tuesday mornings. But because he has this procedure, which is getting injections in his neck, they said that he needs to basically have a babysitter afterwards. So, and normally he tries to make everything on a Tuesday, since Tuesday is my normal morning off. However, they don't do the injections in the neck on a Tuesday, I guess, only on a Wednesday. So I moved my Wednesday morning classes to Tuesday. So Tuesday morning, I'll be free for him. And I'll be available to him should he need me until I have my 3:30 class. And I can take my laptop with me and do my work while I wait for him to have his procedure done. And the good and bad of being connected, right? Grateful, oh so grateful that I have my job for this, for the doctor's office. However, also, I was talking with about this with one of the students yesterday. You really don't have a break either, though. Like normally if somebody's in the hospital or you're waiting at the doctor's office, right? Okay, before all this connectivity, we were just sitting there thumbing through a magazine or listening to music, whatever. Now, there's really no excuse for not being able to get your work done. Which is both good and bad, because you can take care of your personal stuff and still do your work, so you're not losing time, you're still earning your money. That part's good. The downside of it is, like my doctor, if she goes on vacation, say she went on a cruise, she's got her laptop with her, she's still working. She pays for the internet on the boat, and we can reach her anytime, which is wonderful and definitely shows her dedication to her patients, but really not good for her. No serious hard stop for her. So, the good and bad of it all. Yesterday, though, we were talking about accepting ourselves and changing things if you want to change them, right? And I had mentioned that I had gastric bypass surgery and I was starting to go down that path, and then I had a neighbor join me for the walk, so I went ahead and turned it off. But I said we'd get back to that. So, me today, quite vulnerable, okay? Wearing a little midriff top. But that's me today. Me several years ago, and I do mean several years ago. Gosh, I'm trying to remember what year we had the surgery. I think Jeff and I talked about it. It was, Nick graduated in 2007. I was still heavy. I'm trying to remember when my mom passed away, and I don't remember. But let's say maybe 2009. I think 2009. June, I remember in June. I always seem to have surgeries in June over the summer. Nick was born in June. Very strange. At any rate, I'd always been overweight. I think I had a very brief moment of time where I was thinner. And usually my thin was an 8-10, which is where I'm at now. Number on a scale I can't tell you. But I had gotten up to about 325, 330, and nothing was working. I mean, it would work, but it wouldn't work. You know, you do Weight Watchers, lose 50, 60 pounds, stop doing Weight Watchers, put 50, 60 pounds plus back on, do the Atkins, lose a little bit, put a lot back on, you know. So there's a lot that I did, you know, exercised, yes. And I always, and there's a big controversy, right? You know, you can't be overweight and be healthy. I was always healthy. May not have eaten healthy, but I never had a problem with my blood work. I never, you know, had never had any health issues. Never even been in the hospital. Never broken a bone. Yeah, never broken a bone up until that point. Maybe before I had the surgery, I had my first break in my foot. I was walking down the stairs at my house and missed a step and broke the 5th metatarsal in my foot. This was before I had the gastric bypass surgery. So I had the RNY, not the sleeve. And, you know, my deciding factor was weight is an issue in my family. My mother had had strokes. Strokes left her debilitated on her left side. Had to think about that. And I just wasn't able to do this. And people will be out there saying, well, you don't have any discipline, and blah, blah, blah. You know, maybe that's so. But I don't think so. Okay, am I a crazy dedicated person and go hard one way or the other? No. I am a pretty middle of the road person. But for family health reasons, you know, my grandfather, who was in good shape, died of a heart attack. My grandmother, who was rail thin, had Parkinson's disease. I think she ended up dying from a heart attack as well. Mother had high blood pressure, high cholesterol, lifestyle changes on her part, those two things. Even when I was at my heaviest, I never had high blood pressure, I never had high cholesterol. And my stress tests came back fine, all of that. Like all of your normal markers came back just fine. But I knew that having the weight on was going to take its toll. And I had my son. And, you know, he had graduated high school and, you know, venturing off onto this wonderful journey of life for himself. And I wanted to be there for it ultimately. So for me, my decision, what I felt was going to work for me was the gastric bypass surgery. So I met with the surgeon and went ahead and, you know, had the consult. And it's not something that you just go and you see a doctor and you say, okay, here's my money, you know, go ahead and give me the surgery, make me skinny. That's not how it works. Right, if you've not been through it, and I'm sure every weight loss doctor has their own protocols, but our doctor, and I say our because Jeff also had his done, he had his done 6 months after I had mine. But, you know, we had to go through a psychological evaluation. And after talking to the psychologist, she said, you know what, before I even give you an approval on this, I want you to go to, I think I had to go to like 5 Al-Anon meetings, plus meet with her. And there was a lot of education that went along with it, learning different words like cessation, right? Are you satiated, as opposed to are you really hungry? So, you know, kind of learned the differences on those things. And I did put it in my mind, I'm going through this. I want it to be something that lasts. There are a lot of people who will have gastric bypass surgery that put the weight back on. And there's no shame. Sometimes these things work, sometimes they don't, right? And I love that for us, like we're all individuals, right? So what works for one person may not work for another. And you have to be willing also to give up a lot. Like I said, there were a lot of decisions that went into, is this the right thing for me? Oh good, he's going the other way. Trash man. So, you know, because my doctor told me, he goes, there will be no alcohol. I wasn't a big drinker anyway. If I drank once a year, like one drink once a year. So that was like no great loss for me. But he said no alcohol. He said you're also not going to have any added sugar, so you can kiss your sweets goodbye. And that was something that was tough, you know, because I love baking. I love cookies. I love cakes. I love it all. And I'm like, okay, you know, if I do this, this is the decision I'm making. I'm giving that up. And I did work on after the fat girl around front. Come around front. There you go. Good girl. I did work out after the fact on figuring out how to make my sweets without the added sugars, using the natural sugars from fruit or fruit juices that have no added sugar in them. But that can be a whole nother video. So I don't feel like I gave up sweets. They are different. Of course, they don't taste the same. But I feel okay about that. Portion size, it really helped. So portion size is probably where I was, because it was nothing for me to go to McDonald's, have 1 or 2 Big Macs and a large fry and a Diet Coke. Don't forget the Diet Coke. Okay. So there's a reason, I'm well aware there's a reason why I was as heavy as I was. But the gastric bypass also made it impossible for me to eat large amounts of anything. Initially, after surgery, you're kind of on this liquids thing, and then you go into purees and you work your way into maybe chopped up foods, and then you can go into solid foods. And talked to my husband about it, and he was very supportive about it, and was kind of like, you're the test dummy, you go first. If it goes okay, I'll go ahead and get it done as well. And there's a lot of counseling that goes through, like, come on, girl, that you go through, even as a couple, because we were told these are some things that may happen. There could be jealousy on your partner's part because you've lost weight and you may be getting attention from, other people that you normally don't get attention from, and that can cause issues. You also change inside. So keeping up with those changes yourself, of what's going on inside of you, and talking to, if you have a partner, talking to your partner, your friends, stuff like that. I felt like the educational process was very thorough, and unfortunately my surgeon is no longer practicing. Dr. Fred Simon was my surgeon. We got 2 little bikes coming, so let's let them pass. Okay. Dr. Larson, I think, is now head of that clinic. And he's in the Lake Worth area, near JFK Hospital. So if it is something that you're considering, because it's where I went and because I felt their care was so good and their program was so good, of course I would recommend them. And that's if you're considering it. I'm by no means saying, oh, if you're overweight, this is what you need to do. Absolutely not. You need to do what you feel is going to be right and best for you. This is what I felt was going to be right and best for me. So did I have, we did all the build up. I had my surgery date. I was ready to go, mentally prepared. I had all my, foods bought. They told you all about your protein deficiencies and all that sort of thing, and how to combat that, how to work with that, your vitamin deficiencies, how to work with that. And in South Florida, there was a woman who had gone through gastric bypass surgery, and she had all these, vitamin and food issues. So she developed a company for bariatric patients, and I found her. I'm trying to remember what the name of it was now. Her name was Marie, and it was B something. But I want to say, that was probably a huge help for me, because before I had the gastric bypass surgery, I went in there, and her staff was as well educated as she, and she, here they come again. Okay, so she had educated her staff really well, and they really helped advise us, here these first few weeks, important to get that protein in, really reiterating what our surgeon had told me, and kind of pointed me in the right direction with proteins and liquid vitamins, because getting pills down and having them dissolve, not going to be an easy thing initially. So there's those kids, if you can see them. I can't see with the glare of the sun, but that's what I'm trying to avoid noise-wise. So kind of got myself all set up with that. Made sure I had chicken broth with protein powder mixed into it. It frozen into ice cubes, so that I pretty much had some pre-measured food for afterwards, to make it easy on myself and my husband, because he would help care for me, obviously. I say obviously because that's my husband. He will help care for me. But not everybody has that kind of support, and I know that. So these are things you can do to help yourself too. Had a friend that went through it, and she went through it alone. So it's not that you can't go through it alone. I was just fortunate to have somebody. Let's see. Then I was gearing up for surgery, and Nick had a baseball tournament in Orlando, and we drove up for the tournament, and it was a weekend tournament, so I was going to leave early Monday morning and just drive back, go straight into work. And Sunday night, I started having these extreme gas pains. I was sure it was gas pains. Just this tightness in my back and part of my chest, and like, wow, this is crazy, And I will say, in Orlando, I always had a hard time finding food to eat that was any good. Good morning. It's okay. So I thought I probably just ate something that wasn't really great, and I was paying the price for it. And I was up all night walking around, having my arms up in the air to try and relieve some pressure, trying to belch, right? Not very ladylike, I know. But I'm being honest with you, and I'm giving you my experiences. And super early in the morning, I told Jeff, I can't sleep. I'm just going to leave. I'm going to head back now. And the whole time I'm driving back, I'm thinking, am I having a heart attack? Am I having a heart attack? Nah, I can't be having a heart attack. Right? And I'm going back and forth in my head as I'm driving from Orlando back to West Palm. At the time, I worked for an occupational medicine company called Coach Comp, who was a subsidiary of Wellington Regional Medical Center. And I was the assistant to the director. And it just got so bad. I'm like, I'll just make it home. And then there were times where I'm like, maybe I should stop at the nearest hospital and get this checked out. I'm like, nah, I'll make it home. All right, first of all, don't do as I do. Do as I say. If you feel like you might be having a heart attack, stop at a hospital, okay? Don't wait until you get near home. But I waited till I got near home. And instead of going into work, I went straight to Wellington Regional. Went to the hospital, told them what I was experiencing. They ran a bunch of tests, came back, said, you're not leaving this hospital. You are having emergency gallbladder surgery. Your gallbladder is going to burst in any moment. It's like, oh, shit, okay. So I called my boss, Dr. Ashi, Simone Ashi. Some of you may know him. Called my boss at the time and said to him, I'm not going to make it in. This is the situation. And he came to the hospital immediately. All right. I mean, above and beyond. Okay. And I will say at the time, it was more than just an employee-employer relationship. We had a friendship as well. And he came immediately to the hospital. And I said, don't call Jeff. Don't tell Jeff anything. I'll be okay. I'm just going to have this surgery. It's going to be fine. And he looked at me and he goes, Rose, your husband will kill me if I don't call him and let him know, at least know what's going on, and tell him that you're okay and in good hands. I'm like, no, it's okay. He's like, no, it's not okay. So he did call Jeff. And I told Jeff, I said, please don't come home. Stay with Nick. Enjoy the game. I'm going to be okay. He had nothing to do with that. He made arrangements for one of the teammates' parents to drive Nick home after the tournament. And he hightailed it back to Orlando. Or back from Orlando, back to Wellington. Now we got the trash truck, so let's take a brief moment here to just enjoy the scenery behind me. And I'll cover the mic. Okay, so I had my emergency gallbladder surgery, and before I'm like, no, in 2 weeks I'm supposed to have my gastric bypass surgery. I said, can't you call my surgeon? He's credentialed at this hospital. We can do both at the same time. And they're like, no, you are not waiting. We are not waiting. You are not waiting to have this gallbladder removed. It is coming out now. I said, well, what's it do to my gastric bypass? They're like, you can still have it. You're just going to wait 6 weeks. So I was really just feeling defeated from that. I was like, okay. So had the gallbladder removed, and then healed from that 6 weeks later. Went in, had gastric bypass surgery. And everything went well with the surgery, and they took such precautions, right? I mean, you have to do your normal clearance, right? Cardiac clearance, blood work, and you have to do an HP pylori test to make sure that there's no bacteria in your lungs even. So did all the tests, passed all the tests, no problem. And go ahead and have the surgery. And that's where I'll leave this story now. We'll pick up again another time because I'm back home and I'm going to drop Pyaar off, and then I have to get back to the studio. So I will talk to you soon. I hope you have an amazing day. I hope your day is wonderful and beautiful. And I will speak to you very soon.